Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Are we a country, a nation ruled by laws, or are we a nation ruled by voodoo and feelings? Well, that's a choice that future generations probably will determine, but as of now, we supposedly on the books, we are a country, a nation ruled by laws. Therefore, simply enforce the laws, obey the laws, and that's it. We have here an article coming from Politico telling us about the Trump's signing executive order targeting election rules. The reason why I picked this is just, it's Politico. Politico lost some funding, if I remember correctly, from US aid, and they're very upset with the Trump administration. So, besides the fact that probably before this they were very much skewed, right now they seem to be targeting, to use their word, the Trump administration. I will read to you maybe 3 paragraphs. The first paragraphs, and you would, from the very beginning, including the title, you will realize that these guys in Politico are either wanting a country ruled by voodoo, or they really hate Trump so much that they will, step on anybody's heads just to get to Trump. So let's analyze the as I said, first three paragraphs. And as I said, Politico, March 25th, 2025. Trump signs sweeping executive order targeting election rules. So he's targeting, right? That's not good when you target someone. And here is the bad dude. Here, President Donald Trump on Tuesday signed a sweeping executive order seeking to change how elections are administered across the country, especially rules related to citizenship and mail-in voting. So, right, he's trying, one guy, like a king, tries to change how elections are administered. Regarding citizenship, let's talk about that before we go any further. I think that it's clear that only the US citizens can vote in an election, in this case, for the President of the United States of America. I think that should remain that way. It's like in your household, the decision, the determination is made by your household members, which usually are your immediate family, husband, wife, children, and maybe grandparents. That's it. Now, the same here. I don't want green card holders to go and vote. I know that is not legal. But if you have an huge influx of people who cross the border and then they're given amnesty, what do you think they will do? They will vote, right? But what if they violate the rules? What if they cross the border and they enter this country unlawfully? They will come and vote at one point. Give them a driver's license and they're going to go and vote. Therefore, Trump wants to see that you provide proof of citizenship. You say, well, you're not going to get a driver's license. You can have a driver's license as a permanent resident. That's the first one. But nevertheless, let's move on to the next paragraph. The order immediately sparked concern among voting rights experts. Now, this is a BS sentence. So you see, immediately sparked concern among experts. Now, if you're a baboon and you read there and you hear the word experts and you have an inferiority complex that you are dumb as fuck, you would say, oh, let's see what the experts have to say. All right? I know a lot of people who, when they hear about experts, analysts, people familiar with the matter, university professors, and so on, they immediately drop everything they have in their head, if they have, and listen and suck in what the expert has to say. The expert has an agenda. The expert has a limitation. The expert is not a genius. Okay, now, remember, immediately sparked concern. All right, who said, the experts say, who said the president may not even legally have the authority to do some of the things he directed in the order. All right, so might have not legally have the authority. My point is this: yes, we're all about the laws, the rules. Didn't I say that? But why are the rules first, implemented? Or why are they there? To make something, that makes sense. Make it a better society, make the society run smoother. Doing the right thing is to create order and, make it work better. So I don't know why these guys are so upset, or at least seem to me upset, when they talk about president may not legally have the authority. Okay, might not, but are we for it or we are against it? Are we for the US citizens to vote, or we are for everyone to vote? From the very, very beginning. If it's only for the US citizens, then have it clear, which I think it is clear, and enforce it. Next. If allowed, that means if the parents of this country allowed to go into effect, it could disrupt how Americans vote and their ballots counted in ways that may disfranchise many legitimate voters for every potential illegitimate voter it stops. So this is, don't do it. Leave it as it is. Like what? So look at the words. If allowed to go in effect, if it allowed, it could possibly, how Americans, do you mean the citizens, vote and their ballots counted in ways that they may disenfranchise how many legitimate voters. Now, Trump's order asserts, it just comes in and asserts that federal law requires all states to reject ballots not received by election day. I'm all for it. If you can't make it that way, you should not be voting. You should not have the right to vote if you don't bother to go and vote. If you don't bother to show an ID and provide evidence that you are the person who they have it over there on their list, you should not vote. You should stay home. You're not a participant in this society. And I would add that if you're not a, productive member of the society, then again, why do you bother? I mean, why would you have a say? Remember, no taxation without representation, no voting right without providing something to the country. Why would you vote? Well, in one of my books that I've written, I explained how I would see the voting system in America. That is, you earn percentage of a vote. How? By tests. You're going to go and you're going to get classes. Don't give me those classes. They say, oh my God, we take classes in school and so on. No. You're going to be tested. And based on the test, which is going to be harder and harder, that means I want to make sure that you know what you're talking about and you understand what's going on here. Minimum stuff. You will start with, you're going to have a quarter of a vote first. Then if you take some tests and it's more difficult, you're going to get half of a vote. You're going to go and vote. Then if you prove that you have more knowledge, you have to know what the hell you're voting for. Then you're going to get, 75% of a vote. And when you accomplished the definite knowledge of how the system works, I'm not asking to be a genius, but at least the minimum knowledge on what's the executive branch, what's the judiciary, and so on. I want you to know that, at least. How people are elected, how the special interests work, how IPAC works, and all this, and how the profiteers are, how the mass media. I want some information, real information. And then you get a full vote. But then don't expect someone to pay for your transport to go and vote. If you don't have that minimum ability to be in a society and be a productive member of society, you should not vote. That's my stance. I mean, why do I want you to vote? I don't want you to vote. I don't care. I vote. I make everything possible for me to vote. If you don't want to vote, stay home. But I have a lot of people who I can't buy an ID. I don't know. You have to make. Remember, with rights and liberties, there come responsibilities. So if you want to be participant in a vote, to vote in an election, you have to make the minimum effort. Some people do crazy stuff, sacrifice their lives in an attempt to become US presidents. US presidents, US citizens. Here, they just came out of their mom's V's and I'm American. You didn't do shit about it. Nothing. You just looked for your little interest, which is eat, fuck, drink, sleep, and talk shit. Do something about it. Show that you are an American. Oh no, I'm American because I was born here. That means nothing. Do something. Show it. Now here, directing the Justice Department to, and I'm quoting, take all necessary actions to enforce the requirement. The move seemed directly targeted at mail-in heavy states from California to Alaska. Seemed directly. Again, these guys are telling half-truth. They're putting together certain, how should I put it, points that are not there. Across the country, states have wide latitude to administer elections differently, but none allow voters to be counted if they are cast after Election Day. Some accept absentee ballots after Election Day as long as they are post-market by Election Day, while many pip. So, and we have here, we're going to find out who are the people who actually could be disenfranchised. And those are the, right here. Among some groups, including poor and low-income Americans, you can buy an ID to prove that you're over there, drive a car, walk, because it's in your area. A proof of citizenship requirement, of course, can raise a substantial hurdle to voting. You have to make an effort. And because voter fraud is vanishingly rare, he makes the point, no, the voter fraud is vanishingly rare. The order could result in far greater disenfranchisement, Jesus Christ, of lawful voters than prosecution and deterrence of illegitimate ones. That means don't bother. You just are trying to get these guys away from voting. No, you got to make an effort. If you want a job, you don't wait outside or inside of your little house or whatever, apartment or wherever you are and wait for someone to give you a job. You have to get up and go over there and prove that you are who you are to get a job. And make the effort. Somehow, because, the right to vote is right there, it's Jesus Christ. These guys think that they should not do anything about it. It is. I challenge that. I think you should do something to be able to vote. I understand before it was you have to be of certain color, you have to own property and in good standing. These were the requirements before, when it was the bad times, to vote. I disagree with race, gender, and all these things. They should not matter whatsoever. But I definitely agree with you being a productive member of society. That means you're not going to stay over there and you wait and you don't do anything because the society allows you to do that. And then you go and vote and you're a big mouth. And, I can't prove I'm a US citizen. Then don't go and vote. Don't vote. You don't bring a proof on ID, you don't board the plane. Since when boarding a plane or even going and, showing an ID to get a parcel from the mail is more important than voting? Since when? I mean, these guys lost track what voting really is, how important it is. How do you think they were voting in, 1820? They had the airplanes picking them up, helicopters getting them over there, or they want the drones come and get them their little voting thing. They were riding horses, they were walking, and that's how they do it. You don't want to do that, stay home, don't vote, you're not a participant. You're a guy who's going to be by the decision made by others who made the effort to show up. Make the effort, minimum effort. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.